And when I got into the real world, man, I was in for a rude awakening. You know, because of the color of my skin, I realized that it didn't matter where I went, what kind of degrees I had, where I went or whatever, you know, I was still a black man. And, you know, life wasn't gonna be easy. But along my journeys, man, I was really, really fortunate enough to click up with some brothers and sisters that went to HBCUs. And what I learned from them was that, you know, upon graduating, all the training that they had done in schools such as Morehouse, they weren't expecting an easy world. They didn't come out expecting to fit in. They came out determined to change the world. You know, they came out ready to just beat that pavement and create their own businesses. And like I said, change the world. So I learned a lot from people that graduated from HBCU. So I humbly say to Morehouse, thank you for teaching me that skill and that courage to come out here and do my thing. Now, you know, life is hectic, and especially now with the digital age, man, we have our schedules and we're always running, and you know, we're running here, we're, you know, either in classes or studying or exams or jobs or relationships with family or Twitter and Instagram, you know what I'm saying? We're busy. But I noticed, man, that as much running as we do, we rarely take the time out to stop and ask ourselves, why are we here? You know, why are we alive? Why are we in this country? Why in this state? Why are we at Morehouse? You know, and I think it's really important to ask yourself that, man, because it's a real introspective question. Sometimes you got to go in to see out. You know, you got to go in to see out. And you know, when I was in college, you know, my only concern was having fun, man. It was the best 4 years of my life, and if somebody said to me that I need to think about why I'm here, I'd be like, yo, you're a weirdo, I'm not. I would avoid them on campus, but I'm asking you today, really, you know, to really dig deep and ask yourselves, you know, why you're here. I read a book a couple of years ago called Mastery by Robert Greene. Robert Greene is a famous author. He wrote the book 48 Laws of Power. I think he's an amazing author. He knows how to break down history in such an amazing, dramatic, exciting way. But this book, Mastery, was just a whole different thing, man. And I know I don't want to be up here suggesting amongst all of your, you know, school curriculum that you pick up another book, but I suggest that you go and pick up that book, Mastery, man, because in it he talks about how there's this philosophy which I also subscribe to, is that every individual that's born on this planet has a unique gift. A unique gift, a unique special power. And once you tap into that power, once you tap into your individual unique gift, nothing can stop you. You become a master of your craft, become a master of your life, and you become a master of this planet. And he also talks about how, you know, why most of us in life don't get to tap into our uniqueness, our special power, the things that makes us masters. And it's just the way the world is designed, man. You know, it starts off when we're growing up, our parents, you know, we love them and they mean the best for us, but they shape us. They want the best for us. They don't want us to go out here and be failures and be overcome by the hardships of the real world. So they tell us, you know, get a good education, become a doctor or a lawyer or whatever it is, you know, fill in the blank. You know, the society tells us, when we go to school, society tells us what we need to be. We need to go in this direction, and there's a limited amount of slots that you can do with your life and your career, and that's great. I mean, I'm not knocking any of that. But what these outside influences are not telling us is really dig down deep and find out who you are. You know, I don't have all the answers in terms of, you know, how you can tap into what your special gift is, what your life work is, what your mission is. But I want to share with you a couple of things that have worked for me throughout my career. And I got to tell you, so years ago, I practiced entertainment law. I worked with the Jay-Z's and the Diddy's, and it was great. It was sexy. You know, we popped bottles, shiny suits, the whole nine. But I wasn't happy. I was good at what I did, but I didn't feel like it was my mission. I just felt like it was my job. And the problem with humanity, the problem with our society globally is, you know, we're trained to get jobs. And When you have your job, yeah, it's great, it's work, you're providing for your family and yourself, but that's not fully living, man. So I want to share with you these 3 points that I speak about often, and if it resonates with you, man, then I'm doing my job. The first thing you have to do, which is very important, is you have to dream. You know, like we talk about dream, and it's like, oh, what is that? Like that's not real. But that's exactly what it is. You gotta dream about what's not real. You gotta dream about where you wanna be, where you can't see yourself, but where you wanna be. You gotta dream about digging deep so that nothing can stop you. You know, thinking about jobs and employment and the type of house you want and the income you want, that's not dreams, man, that's goals. And goals, if you can see your goals, if they're very tangible to you, that's not a dream, that's real. You can attain that. And I'm not saying it's easy to attain that, but it's relatively easy. But dreams are things that you see in your head, and then when you sleep, now you're like, wait a minute. Getting over there is impossible. But the more you dream, and the more the universe gives you these glimpses of that other side, it's up to you to use your infinite universal power to make that a reality. You know, years ago, once again, when I was practicing law, I started having dreams, man, that I had a voice and that I would be on a platform where I could communicate to thousands of people across the planet. But 10 years ago, man, the internet didn't exist. Social media didn't exist. I didn't know what the hell a podcast was. These things weren't real. So I had to constantly battle between what my real life was and where my life was trying to pull me. And no matter how real the world seemed, no matter how my daily life tried to shape me and lock me into my profession as an entertainment lawyer, I never allowed my dreams to die. And so a mystical thing happens when you continue to believe and fuel your dreams is that, and I'm not crazy, y'all might think I'm crazy, but as you believe in your dreams start to shape reality. Your dreams start to shape the universe. You know, so years later, when the internet appeared and I learned how to blog and communicate, I was like, oh, this is dope. And then when I had the opportunity to start an online radio show, I was like, yo, I'm talking, I don't know anything about radio. I couldn't get in radio, I didn't have no training in radio. I don't belong in radio, but I have an opportunity. And then as we transferred our online radio show to a podcast, I didn't know this would be the wave of the future. I was just following my dreams. And now I can tell you, man, I'm so happy. And I feel so powerful. And I feel I'm just doing my little bit, man, to shape and change the world. So it's so important, man, no matter what anybody tells you, no matter what you tell yourself, man, you got to dream, man. That's something. Trust your inner voice, man. You gotta listen to your inner voice. You know, I said earlier, man, that, you know, from inception, from birth, we're constantly swayed and shaped and directed by external voices. You can't do this, you can't do this, and you can't do that. You watch the news and you read books, and so you see all of these messages. But every now and then, man, you'll hear something that'll tell you, man, like, nah, go this way. You know, and you know, some people call that gut. Some people call that instinct. We're a very instinctive people, man. And I think as things become more advanced, we trust our instinct less. But nah, that's hustling backwards. You know, you gotta trust that inner voice, man. And when you hear that voice, man, you gotta do your best to cultivate that voice. When you hear that voice and the noise tries to drown it out, man, meditate, exercise, whatever it is, man. Listen to that voice. You know, I remember when I was practicing law, I would tell my friends, I'd be like, yo, man, like, my life is, I'm hearing these voices, man, like about going this way. When all this money and all this fame and all this success is over here, am I crazy? They'd be like, yeah, man, you're crazy. And at a certain point, man, I decided to go crazy. And I have no regrets. So I implore you, I'm up here on stage telling y'all, man, to lose your mind and go crazy and listen to that inner voice, man. Your inner voice will never fail you. Point number 3. gotta trust the journey. You gotta trust where you end up. Because once you start believing in your dream, and once you start following that voice, and once you see, life is not neat. We have these goals and we have these plans and we think we have this like life GPS, but you'll be headed over there and you'll end up way over here. Way over here. And you'll be like, yo, how did I get here? I'm a failure. I'm not on track, man. I might as well give up. I got a story of a friend of mine, a real life friend of mine. His name is Caesar. And Caesar had a long life dream to become a classical conductor. That's not an easy career. It's not like they're handing out jobs to be a classical conductor. So he studied under master, composers. He devoted his life to composing classical music, and upon graduating, he was like, yo, there's no jobs to be a classical conductor. So he started sending out resumes all across the country, man, South Africa, China, Russia, all across the globe. And the more he sent out resumes, the more he got rejections. And at a certain point, he had to feed himself. So Caesar took the most unlikely job that he ever thought he would do. He became a painter, painting houses. So about 3 or 4 years, Caesar's painting houses. And he's like, yo, being a conductor has nothing to do with painting houses. I failed. But Caesar believed in his dreams. Caesar believed in that voice, and he just kept moving forward and sending out resumes and sending out resumes and sending out resumes, painting houses. So about 3 or 4 years after his struggles, man, he started getting these acceptance letters. We want you to conduct an orchestra in China. We want you to come down to South Africa to conduct classical music in front of the late great Nelson Mandela. We want to fly you out to Russia. And all of a sudden now he's flying all around the planet, conducting. The story is this. I don't know anything about composing, about conducting. I don't know anything about that technique. But he had already developed his own technique. He said he got up in front of that stage, I want to say it was China. He got up in front of that stage and he started conducting, and noticed he had a different stroke. He had power and energy, which added more drama and depth to his performance. And he was like, painting. I've been painting those houses all these years, and I built muscles that I never had. You gotta trust. Dude, I don't care, man. And hopefully none of y'all end up there. I don't care if y'all end up in the band, though. Trust the journey. As long as you follow your dream, trust the journey. Tapped into your life's mission. In hip-hop culture, we talk about how important it is to grind and how important it is to hustle. I'm getting my money. I don't sleep. I'm working tirelessly. I'm pushing y'all. Nah, y'all lay down. Right? And you gotta do that. You gotta do that in every aspect of your life. But if that's all you're doing, eventually you're gonna burn out, man. You can't keep pushing. You can't keep grinding and hustling. But as you follow these principles, man, these universal laws, man, things start to transform. And when you tap into what you were born on this planet to do, you're no longer pushing, it's pulling you. You know what I'm saying? It's pulling you. And when you're being pulled, you can't stop. Won't stop, don't stop. You know what I mean? So, I want to close and say, man, I really believe, why are you here? Each and every one of you, man, each and every one of you has to change this planet. You can't wait for one person to know. We live in a culture right now where we look for leaders to lead, but everyone has that gift. Everyone has that magic. Everyone has that power to change the planet, man, and be happy. It's not changing the world and living a life of mission. It's not an austere practice. You're not giving anything up. You're living life to the fullest, man. So you gotta ask yourself why you're here. And imagine, just imagine, it's just everyone in this room tapped into their life's work and in their mission, how amazing this planet would be. You know, it's just, you're creating magic. It's in your hands, it's in your heart, it's in your life. You know, please, man, like everyone tap into that, do that work, follow your voice. You gotta dream, and you gotta trust the journey. You know, I end my shows, every episode of the Combat Jack Show, I end it with this, and I like to share it with you. Dream those dreams, and then man up and woman up and live those dreams, because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in technicolor and surround sound. Tap into that magic, y'all.